Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss the very first topic of algebraic topology, the fundamental group. Fundamental group is the first homotopy group. So we will discuss homotopy groups and fundamental groups. Firstly, why we need this fundamental group? In a topological space, one of the basic problems is to determine whether two given topological spaces are homeomorphic or not. Whenever we want to determine that whether any two given topological spaces are homeomorphic or not, then there is no method for solving this problem in general. So we apply some techniques in particular cases. For example, if we want to show that two spaces are homeomorphic, then it is just a matter of constructing a continuous map from one space to other, which is having a continuous inverse also. Which means if we want to prove that two topological spaces are homeomorphic to each other, we have to construct a mapping from one space to another, which is homeomorphism, which is bicontinuous bijection map. But whenever we have to prove that two spaces are not homeomorphic to each other, then we cannot show that a continuous mapping with continuous inverse does not exist between the two spaces. It is very difficult to prove that there does not exist any bicontinuous bijective map from one space to another. So we find out some topological properties. We find out at least one topological property which satisfies for the first space but not for the other. Then we can say the two topological spaces are not homeomorphic to each other. For example, let us take this closed interval 0, 1 and open interval 0, 1. The closed interval 0, 1 cannot be homeomorphic to open interval 0, 1 since the closed interval 0, 1 is compact, but the open interval 0, 1, this is not compact. And we know compactness is a topological property. If two spaces are homeomorphic to each other and one of them is compact, then other must be compact. And we know this space is compact, but this is not compact, so they cannot be homeomorphic to each other. Similarly, let us take one more example. The real line R and R2, the complex plane, they are also not homeomorphic to each other. Because if we remove a point from R, let us say R minus 0, then this space is not connected space. Removing a point from R leaves with the disconnected space. But if we remove a point from R2, that is still connected space. So since this space is disconnected and R2 minus 0 is connected, so we can say that R and R2 cannot be homeomorphic to each other. Now this problem can be solved in one other way also. The dimension of R is 1 and dimension of R2 is 2, and dimension for a finite dimensional space, that is also a topological property. That means if two spaces are homeomorphic to each other, then their rank should be same. So because dimension is not same here, so they are not homeomorphic to each other. Similarly, we can prove for many other spaces that two spaces are not homeomorphic to each other by proving that one of them has a topological property which does not satisfy for the other space. But sometimes we cannot find a topological property which satisfies for one space and does not satisfy for other space. We have so many topological properties, for example, compactness, connectedness, local connectedness, metrizability, separation axioms, etc. But sometimes we cannot find a topological property that distinguishes between two topological spaces. For example, let us consider a sphere S2 and the torus T, and let us say double torus T hash T. We take these three spaces, S2 the sphere, T the torus, and T hash T the double torus. So none of the topological properties which I have stated earlier that can distinguish between these spaces, that can prove that these spaces are not homeomorphic to each other. So that's why we have to develop, we have to introduce new properties, new techniques. So one of them is fundamental group. Now we move from topology to algebra. We will determine for every topological space a group which is algebraic structure, and we will call it the fundamental group. Actually, we can define many groups, and these groups are called homotopy groups, but the first homotopy group is called the fundamental group. Now we will prove later on that whenever two topological spaces are homeomorphic to each other, their fundamental groups are isomorphic in the sense of algebra. So for example, I have told that S2, the sphere, and the torus T, they are not homeomorphic to each other. We will prove later on that the fundamental group of S2 is trivial group. Trivial means it is group having only identity element, and the fundamental group of torus, that is not trivial. And because whenever two spaces are homeomorphic, their fundamental groups should be isomorphic to each other, but the fundamental group of S2 is trivial and fundamental group of T is not trivial, so they cannot be isomorphic to each other. Therefore, we can conclude S2 and T cannot be homeomorphic to each other. Similarly, we can prove T and double torus T hash T, they are also not homeomorphic by proving that their fundamental groups are not isomorphic to each other. So in this lecture, we will define fundamental group, we will study its properties, and find some applications of its properties. So first of all, we define homotopy of paths. Homotopy, because the fundamental group is defined through the relation of homotopy. So for that, we have to firstly define what is a path. So let X be any topological space, then a path F in X, that is a continuous map F from I to X, where I is a closed interval 0, 1. In fact, any continuous map from any closed interval to the space X is called a path. But because we know all closed intervals are homeomorphic to each other, so we restrict our closed interval to be the closed interval 0, 1. So we will say that any continuous map from the closed interval 0, 1 to X is called a path in space X. So I am highlighting this word continuous because any continuous map is a path, not any map is a path. So let us say image of 0 under f is x0 and image of 1 under f is x1. Then we will say that f is a path from the point x0 to point x1. And x0 is called the initial point of f and x1 is called the terminal point of f. Initial or starting point, and x1 is called the terminal or end point of f. Now in case these 2 points are same, x0 and x1 are same, then we will say that f is a closed path based at point x0, or we say this is a loop based at x0. So a path is a continuous map from the closed interval 0, 1 to x. And if f0 is x0, f1 is x1, then we say f is a path from the point x0 to x1. And if these 2 points are same, then f will be called a closed path because its initial and terminal points are same. So diagrammatically we can see like this. This is closed interval 0, 1. This is a space x. This is a mapping f, which is continuous mapping from closed interval to x. Let us say image of f, image of this interval under f, that is this. So because this is continuous map, let us say this point is x0, this point is x1. Then f will be called path and this is called image of f. Now we define homotopy. Now firstly we define homotopy between any continuous maps and then we will define homotopy of paths. Firstly, let f and g be any 2 continuous maps of a topological space x into another topological space y. F and g are mappings from x into y, continuous mappings. Then we will say f is homotopic to g, which is written as f homotopic to g if there exists a continuous map, let us say capital F, from x cross I to y such that fx0 is fx and fx1 is gx for all x in x. Which means if we can find a continuous map from x cross I to y. Now what is this x cross I? We have 2 topological spaces x and y and 2 mappings f and g which are continuous mappings from x to y. Now this x cross I, this is basically a cylinder with base x because I is closed interval 0, 1. So this is a cylinder of 1 unit height with base x. So if we can find a continuous map from this cylinder to y such that fx0 is fx. Now what is this fx0? x0, this is any point on the base of the cylinder. So if base of the cylinder goes to small f and x1, this is a point on the top of the cylinder. So if points on the top of the cylinder goes to g, then we say f and g are homotopic to each other, or f is homotopic to g. So diagrammatically we can show like this. Let us say this is a space x, this is a space y, and we have 2 mappings from x to y, f and g. Now if we can find a continuous map from x cross I, now this space is x cross I, this is a cylinder whose base is x and so on. So if we can find a continuous mapping capital F from x cross I to y such that the points on the base, that is x0, so this is the base, here somewhere let us say any point x0. Now this x0 goes to fx because we know this is the space x and f and g are mappings from x to y. So for this point x in x, this space y has some point fx, and similarly for the corresponding point, if this point is x0, then we have the corresponding point x1 here on the top of this cylinder. Then this point goes to gx. So if we can find a continuous map from this cylinder to y such that the point x0 on the base goes to fx and the point x1 goes to gx for each and every x in this space x, then we say f and g are homotopic to each other. Now this was homotopy of maps, continuous maps, where this f and g are any maps. Now if we have f and g are any paths, now if f and g are paths in space x, then basically f and g are continuous maps from I to x. In that case, instead of this x we have I, and instead of the space y we have x. So let us define that. Let f and g be any two paths in space x, then f is said to be homotopic to y, homotopic to g, or f is homotopic to g, which we write as f homotopic to g. Now what is this homotopy? What is the difference between this homotopy and the homotopy we have defined previously? Previously we have defined homotopy between continuous maps, so we used this symbol. But now we are defining homotopy of paths, so we will use the symbol with base p, or simply written as this, or simply f is homotopic to g if there exists a continuous map, let us say capital F, from I cross I to x. Now because this f and g are paths, so this f and g are mappings from I to x. So I to x. So there exists if there exists a continuous map from I cross I to x such that fx0 is fx and fx1 is gx for every x in x. And one more condition we have to add here, because these two are f and g, these two are any two paths in x, so we have to start with the same end points and same starting points. So let f and g be any two paths in x with end points x0 and x1. Say x0 is the starting point of both the mappings f and g, and x1 is the end point of both the paths f and g. Then we will call f is homotopic to g if there exists a continuous map from I cross I to x such that fx0 is fx, fx1 is gx for all x in x, and here again one more condition is added, f of 0t, this is for all x in I, because here this point x belongs to this I. f0t is x0 and f1t, this is x1 for all t in I. So I explain this geometrically. Let us see how. So we are saying if there exists a continuous map from I cross I. So let us say this is I cross I. In previous case we have a cylinder with base x, but because now instead of the space x we have the closed interval I, so basically this is the cylinder with base closed interval 0 1. So this is I cross I, closed interval 0 1 in along this side and closed interval 0 1 along this side. That means this point is 0 0, this is 1 0, this is 0 1, this is 1 1 on the complex plane. And let us say this is a space X. Now if we can find a continuous map F from I cross I to X such that, now here F and G are two paths with endpoints x0 and x1. It means F and G are basically mappings from I to X such that F of 0 and G of 0, they are x0, and F of 1 and G of 1, they are x1, because the starting points of both the paths F and G is x0 and the end point of both the paths F and G is x1. So let us say this is point x1, this is point x1, and say this is path F. Let us say this is path G. So whenever we can find a capital F, a continuous mapping capital F from I cross I to X such that Fx0 is Fx. So x0 is any point lying on this baseline. So let us say this point is x0. So Fx0 is equal to Fx. This point is Fx. That means image of all these points lying on this line, that will be points along this curve, which is actually image of path F. Similarly, Fx1 is equal to Gx. It means image of all the points, because the points of the type x1, they belong to this line. They belong to top of the square I cross I. So points here lying on this line, they will go to Gx. That means images of points on this line, they will be along this image of the path G. The next one is F0t is x0. F0t, 0t is point lying on the left hand side of the square. 0t, here x coordinate is 0 and t is varying for all t in I, and t is varying over the interval 0 1. So all these points will go to x0, means all these points, they will map to this point. Similarly, F1t is x1. That means image of all these points, they are x1. So any mapping, any continuous mapping F from this square to this space X, which satisfies that this bottom line go along the path F, top line go along the path G, the left edge goes to the point x0, and similarly the right edge whole goes to the point x1. Then we will say F and G are path homotopic to each other. So in particular case, if we take here closed paths, let us say F and G be any two closed paths with base point, let us say x0, then F and G will be homotopic to each other if there is a continuous map F from I cross I to X such that Fx0 is Fx, Fx1 is Gx for every x in I, and F0t and F1t both are x0, because in that case x0 and x1, they are the same points. So F0t and F1t both are the points x0. That means the left edge and right edge both will go to x0, and geometrically we will represent like that. This, in that case, let us say this is a square I cross I, and this is the space X. Now we have two closed paths. Let us say this is f, the closed path based at x naught, and similarly g is also closed path based at x naught. So we can find, if we can find the continuous map f from I cross I to x such that the bottom line, which means fx naught, goes to fx and fx1 goes to gx for all x in I. So the bottom line go along this f, and the top line go along this g, left edge which means f0t and the right edge which means f1t, both will go to x naught. So this and this will go to x naught. So clear, it is clear from diagram. This goes to this goes to this, both the edges go to x naught because the starting point is x naught and the end point is also x naught. So in this case we will say f is homotopic to g in case of closed paths f and g. So whenever we have a homotopy between any two paths f and g, say, then this is basically a deformation. Every homotopy f, one more thing I want to say, that this capital F, that mapping which exists from I cross I to x, that mapping is called a homotopy. This is called a homotopy between f and g. So any homotopy between f and g, that always represents a continuous way of deforming the path f to path g. Actually, this is a deformation, continuous deformation of one path into the another path, and this is a deformation such that during the process of deformation the endpoints of the path remain fixed. Let us see how. If f is a homotopy between f and g, then if we define for any time t, define a mapping, define a path basically ft from I to x by ft at s, this is just f of st for all s in I. If we define a path like this, now ft from I to x, this is a mapping from closed interval to x. Secondly, it is continuous because it is defined in terms of capital F, and being a homotopy, capital F is already a continuous map. So as I have defined that any continuous map from a closed interval to x is called path, so this will be a path. And let us see what are the initial and terminal points of this path. ft at 0, this is f0t, and because it is a homotopy, then f0t is x naught. Similarly, ft at 1, now I am taking any paths. In this case we have particular closed paths f and g, so we have taken the point x naught. Now here I am taking any paths f and g which are having initial point x naught and end points x1. So ft1, this is f1t, and that is x1. So here we are saying that a path homotopy f between any two paths f and g, let us say with starting points x0 and ending points x1, that is a deformation of f, continuous deformation of f into the path g. So we define ft from I to x by ft at s is equal to capital F at st. So this is a continuous map from the closed interval I to x, such that at 0 it will give x0 and at 1 it gives x1. So this is a path from x0 to x1 for any value of t. First of all, for any value of t, for any t belongs to this thing is defined for any t belongs to I, for any t between 0 and 1. So for any t from 0 to 1, ft0 is x0, ft1 is x1. That means it is the path from the point x0 to x1. So we can show diagrammatically like this. If we have this square I cross I, and let us say this is space x, and let us say this is point x1, this is point x0, and this is path f, and let us say this is path g, again having the same initial and terminal points x0 and x1. This is f, this is g. So we are saying here ft is a path defined as ft at s is fst. So let us fix this t, because for any t from 0 to 1, ft is defined by this. Let us take t is equal to this. Here t is 0, here t is 1. So we take t is equal to this. So when we go from this point to this along this straight line, which is parallel to the baseline, then the points lying on this line, they are of the type st, where s varying from 0 to 1 and t is fixed. The points on this line, they are of the type st, where s varies from 0 to 1 and t is fixed, this distance. So every point st, because already we have a mapping capital F from I cross I to x, because we are taking f is a homotopy. So these points fst, they will be equal to fts, and we are saying that ft is a path which is from x0 to x1. Let us say this path. So for this t, the image is this ft. Let us say ft1. So this is, let us say, t1. Now we fix t as t2. Here t is t2. So the points on this line are of the type st2. Again s varies from 0 to 1. Again ft, where t is equal to t2, that is the path from x0 to x1, and that is a continuous mapping. So let us say this path ft2, and so on. When we move from this point to this point, when t moves from this point to this point, the image of these lines that will move from this path f to this path g, like this, in this way. So when we move, we already know that this base line goes to f and the top line goes to g under this homotopy. So whenever we go from this base line to top line along these lines, here we go from f to g along continuous paths. So basically we are deforming the path f into path g in a continuous manner, because all these paths are continuous and having same end points. So a homotopy can be seen as a continuous deformation from one path to other path, and this is a deformation of the type that during the deformation endpoints remain fixed, because endpoints of all these paths are x0 and x1. So during this deformation, endpoints does not change. Now we will prove that the relation we have defined, the relation of homotopy, that is actually equivalence relation. The relation of homotopy is equivalence relation, and the relation of path homotopy, that is also equivalence relation. So firstly we prove the relation of homotopy is an equivalence relation. Relation of homotopy, that means if we take two continuous mappings from space X to Y, then they will be called homotopic to each other if we can find a continuous map from X cross I to Y such that fx0 is fx and fx1 is gx for every x in X. So we have to prove this is equivalence relation. So firstly we have to prove reflexivity. For that we have to prove if f is any continuous function from x to y, then f is homotopic to itself. So let us define capital F from x cross I to y by f of xt is fx for every x in X and for every t in I. We define this. Now we already know that f is a continuous map from X to Y. Therefore f is also continuous because capital F is defined in terms of small f. So this is continuous. And secondly, fx0, because we have defined fxt is equal to fx for all x and for all t. So fx0 is f0. Sorry, fx0 is fx and fx1 is also fx, because for any value of t this is just fx. So fx0 is fx, fx1 is fx for all x in X. Therefore f is homotopic to f itself. Now the second is symmetry. Now let f and g are continuous maps from X to Y. Let f and g be continuous maps from X into Y, and f is homotopic to g. So we have to prove g is homotopic to f. Now f is homotopic to g, therefore there exists a continuous map, let us say capital F, from X cross I to Y such that fx0 is fx, fx1 is gx for all x in X. We have to prove g is homotopic to f. That means we have to find a continuous mapping from X cross I to Y such that at x0 it will map to gx and at x1 it will map to fx. So define, let us say capital G from X cross I to Y by gxt as f of x1 minus t for all x and for all t. Capital F is a continuous map and g is defined in terms of f, so g is also continuous. And secondly, g of x0 is f of x1, because if t is 0, 1 minus t is 1. So f of x1 is gx, and g of x1, this is f of x0, and that is fx for all x in X. So we have a continuous mapping G such that gx0 is gx and gx1 is fx. Therefore G is homotopic to f. Then next is transitivity. So here we will assume that f, g and h, these are continuous maps from the space x to y, and f is homotopic to g and g is homotopic to h. Then we have to prove f is homotopic to h. Now firstly, f is homotopic to g and g is homotopic to h, so there exist two continuous maps, let us say f and g, from x cross i to y, such that f of x0 is fx, f of x1 is gx, because we are assuming that capital F is a homotopy between f and g, this, and we are assuming that this capital G, this is a homotopy from g to h, so g of x0 is gx and g of x1, that is hx, for every x in x. Now we have to define a mapping from x cross I to y which should be continuous and which maps x0 to fx and x1 to hx. So we define, let us say capital H from x cross I to y by, we define like this, f of x to t for every t belonging to the half of the interval 0, 1, and g x to t minus 1 for every t in the rest half interval 1 by 2 to 1. Now firstly, because we have defined by splitting the interval, so we have to prove firstly this is well defined mapping, because when t belongs to 0 half, then the value is given by this, and when t belongs to half to 1, the value is given by this. So when t is equal to 1 by 2, the value is given by both. T is 1 by 2 because this is closed here and this is closed here. So at t is equal to 1 by 2, we have two values for the same point. So we have to prove it well defined. So this h is well defined because at t is equal to 1 by 2, what is h, what is this, f of x to t, this is f of x1. Now t is 1 by 2, so 2t is 1, so f of x1 is gx, and secondly the other value g x 2t minus 1 at t is equal to 1 by 2, this is fx0, sorry gx0, and gx0 is again gx, so both the values are same, so this is well defined mapping. Now by pasting lemma, this is continuous also. H is continuous map by pasting lemma or gluing lemma. Now what is this pasting lemma or gluing lemma? This pasting lemma says, if we have a space X which is union of two closed subsets, let us say A and B, and if we have a mapping F defined on X which is continuous on A as well as B, then that is continuous on the whole of the space X. I repeat, if X is a space which is union of A and B, where A and B are closed in X, F restricted to A is continuous and F restricted to B is continuous, then F is continuous on whole of the space X. So here domain of H is x cross I, that is the cylinder x cross I with base X, and we have splitted this cylinder into two parts, the lower half and the upper half. That means the portion where t belongs to 0 to half, that means the lower half portion of the cylinder. So on the lower half portion of the cylinder, this mapping H is equal to fx2t. On the lower half of the cylinder x cross I, hxt is given by fx2t. That means it is given by f, and f is a continuous mapping. Similarly, on the upper half of the cylinder, h is given by capital G, and capital G is also continuous. And the lower half portion, because we are taking here the closed interval 0 to 1 by 2 with closed at 1 by 2. Similarly, here this interval is closed at 1 by 2. So the lower half portion is a closed subset of the whole of the cylinder. Similarly, the upper half portion of the cylinder, that is also closed subset of the cylinder. Both are closed. Union of both is equal to whole of the cylinder, and the mapping H restricted to both the half cylinders, they are continuous. So by gluing lemma, the whole of the mapping H is continuous. Now to prove homotopy, we have to prove one more condition, that is hx0 should be equal to fx and hx1 should be equal to small hx. So hx0, now here t is 0 and t0 belongs to this interval, so the value is given by capital F at x2t. The 2t is again 0, so fx0. fx0 is fx from this, and hx1, now t is 1, so t is 1 belong to this interval, so the value is given by g, so this is gx. Now we put t1 is here, then we get gx1, and gx1 is hx. So we have proved that capital H is a continuous mapping from x cross I to y, such that hx0 is fx, hx1 is hx for all x in x, therefore f is homotopic to h. So the relation of homotopy is equivalence relation. So this is equivalence relation. Similarly, we can prove the relation of path homotopy is equivalence relation. But for the path homotopy, we have to prove just one more extra condition, that f0t is x0 and f1t is x1. So on the similar lines, we can prove that the path homotopy is an equivalence relation. So the rest of the topic will be discussed in the next video. Thank you.